Here we go. All right.
Here we go.
Go back to my shit. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to a special edition of Off the Record with two very special people to me. Here we go. Let's get it going right now. This is Craig Merzak, someone who was one of the top athletes in Naperville history. Great friend.
Legend has it.
Yeah, great friend of mine who played basketball with me and also played football with me as well. And man, he's just a great person. He's with his fiance Ruth. Nice to meet you, Ruth. Nice to meet you, Craig. Everybody, introduce yourself. Today we are discussing how it feels to be almost married. Right? Almost married, you all engaged, and we just want to hear your love story. My sister Mimi says, hey, boom, hey Mimi, right back to you. Okay, so the first question we want to ask is who showed interest first? Like who chose on who first?
Well, it's funny because we were at a mutual friend's birthday of ours, and it was at a club, and I came in sober, and I think he was a little bit more intoxicated than I was.
Okay.
A little bit by a lot. I mean, a lot.
And okay. My friend, now best friend, she had told me that she wanted to introduce me to someone. So she introduced us, and right when I saw his height, 6'2", I was like, okay, hello.
Okay.
And he smiled, and as you can see with his smile, I was just kind of like got attached to it. So the club is mid in downtown, and we're pretty much screaming at each other's ears, trying to talk to each other. And
yeah, I can't remember much about that night, but we ended up I can tell you we ended up making out after literally an hour. So
okay.
Really didn't know each other though.
Okay.
Well, we get to know each other, and this was what, 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
About 6 years ago.
So this basically like so it was like love at first sight. Y'all just knew off the rip. You knew what it was.
I knew.
We were instantly attracted to each other. That's for sure. I mean, for me, yeah, I was still in the
ear goggles, maybe. I don't know.
No, I was still in the the players club at that point.
Okay. Yes, great. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, but I was definitely intrigued by her and everything like that. So I definitely wanted to keep in contact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so since you were at Craig in the Players Club, as you say, the club that I remember me and you being a part of together, what made you decide to get out of the Players Club and decide to like start dating her seriously when you did?
Yeah, I mean, like kind of going back, we kind of went like after that time, we kind of went like our separate ways. We just had like things we were doing professionally different, and we always kept in touch though. That was the one key thing, is that we always said hi to each other on social media or things like that, and we always got together like when I came back from town. So we've always been that. During the time though, like for me, like I moved back from Pittsburgh, and I knew I wanted to get serious, and with everything kind of going on in my life, I was just I knew what I kind of wanted, and so I definitely went on and then pursued Ruth.
Okay, excellent. My sister Mimi says y'all didn't waste any time. Okay, so
Nope.
Ruth, so Ruth, what made you decide to want to date Craig seriously?
Well, I mean, while we were talking, it just kind of seemed like our flow was just completely even every time. Yes, there were times when we had our separate ways. He was dating someone, and then I was dating someone. So the timing was never right. But when he finally moved back, we were able to, hang out more, and then finally jump into going on dates and stuff. And every time I was with him, it was just comfortable safe. He always made me laugh. So that was something that I completely, fell, in liking with at that time, so.
Yeah, it felt really natural. It
Yeah.
wasn't like hard, it wasn't like work. I think that's the main thing
Yeah.
for me. I think a lot of guys could say it too. Like, if you, you always got to put work in relationships, but when you're like putting extra work, you can never grow. You're always just trying to fix the holes. So I felt like we kept progressing long, when we were first, being date.
Okay, excellent. Now, okay, I'll start with you, Ruth. What has been the hardest trial that you all have had to face, and how did you overcome it?
I think the biggest trouble for me was he's pretty bad with his phone. So every time I would call, text, I wouldn't hear back from him. I mean, this is like during the friends and then the dating zone and everything like that. Like, it was always just complete, like, are you ghosting me type of thing, But then like later on, I would hear back from like a day or two later, and it was just very stressful, very stressful. But he's definitely gotten a lot better after, having better communication face to face, telling him how I feel, what I feel when he does that. And it truly helped. And he's a lot better now. Like, I mean, I literally one ring and he's like, hello. So it's.
Oh, okay, great.
Right, exactly. You learn fast.
Okay. Okay, so Ruth, how were you able to get him to put his phone down or to pick his phone up on on time and stuff like that?
Face-to-face communication. You gotta tell him. Well, I told him pretty much how I felt, and most of the time I'm not necessarily mad at him. I'm just mostly worried. Like, are you doing okay? Like, you just never know what goes on outside of this world, so you just tend to get worried a lot. So it's not like I'm texting him and calling him so much at like 12, 1 or 2 in the morning or anything like that. But it's like an every day, every hour type of basis where if I am calling and he doesn't answer for hours amount of time, then of course you just get worried. So, I just tell him how I feel, and he completely understands. And then, maybe sometimes he'll get back at it, but then we'll have that conversation again and then just remind him, and then he understands and gets better.
Okay,
So.
Excellent. And
the whip gets a little bit harder, so I understand.
Okay. Wonderful. That makes sense, Craig. Craig, what has been your biggest trial since you all been together, and how did you overcome it?
I think with Ruth, she's very sweet, and with Ruth, I think you were probably the most quiet I've ever dated before. So, and I'm normally the quieter one of when I'm in a relationship. So for me, that was different because then two things. Well, one, I started thinking maybe she doesn't like me as much, and then two, once I realized that was the case, she just, it's just her personality. Then I had to learn how to be better communicator, asking more questions, be more attentive, and try to get her out of her shell when everyone else was used to try to get me out of my shell. So yeah, so that was probably the biggest obstacle at the time. And
I agree.
Yeah.
I think communication and confrontation type of things were super hard for us in the beginning. But as time goes on and as how much we grow, we tend to be like, you know what, this is bothering me, and being able to talk it out. So that was very important in our growth. Yeah.
Excellent. How important, how big is social media to you all, and does it affect your relationship?
Yeah. Go ahead. You can answer that first.
It's funny because we recently kind of had a huge argument about it. My whole thing is, whenever we're watching TV together or a movie together, I would like to watch it together, but sometimes I'll look at him and he's just scrolling on his phone and just kind of looking at it, and, and I'm like, a good part on the TV comes on, and all of a sudden I hear a loud noise from his story going off. So it's like things like that just kind of gotten really, really frustrating to me. But he told me many times, like, not many times, he just told me in our argument saying, I'll delete it. And I said, no, there's no reason for you to delete your social media. I'm not all about that. I trust him, and I respect his privacy as he does mine. So once you build that trust, things like that shouldn't even matter. But, I can understand for some people, but yeah.
Okay, great. Craig, what about for you? How has social media affected your relationship?
Well, yeah, like how Ruth says, I gotta be more conscious. Like sometimes, like we're in the moment, because I could see it sometimes when I'm like watching something, I want her to be like, oh, or something, pay attention to something, and she's kind of scrolling through. I see what she's talking about because I'm like, oh, I see it. So I think as couples, I think we could all like be a little bit more involved with each other, but at the same time, like not get mad at someone, just gotta communicate.
Yeah.
How you feel about the situation, not attack someone, just be like, hey, and let them know.
Okay, excellent. How much of you all differences, how do you handle having the difference of Craig may want to be in sports or you may want to be doing whatever you're into? How do you all balance that with having like alone time and keeping it together?
Oops, sorry. Difference is like it's interesting. What I learned about people is like through like actually like it's kind of sounds stupid, but like horoscopes. If you learn about people's signs actually, which I never believed in, and then we looked it up one time. I know this is crazy, and then we looked it up one time, and we went not into like the ones you see in the back pages of like a magazine, like like some like Cosmo magazine. I know like the deeper ones. You learn about individual because like Ruth like loved all these like TV shows that are like magic and like Game of Thrones.
Say sci-fi type of stuff. That's
stuff that like I can't believe she would used to like she'd be watching, but then I learned about in the signs that she likes that. So that like that's the kind of personality they draw to it. So I kind of learned a lot by that, like kind of personality. So I recommend that to anyone. Like honestly, if you're dating someone, go. I forgot exactly what it is, but like Google like their sign and look into it deep and see what kind of person it is because it's pretty accurate. It's crazy how accurate those things are. And I'm 100% a guy that didn't believe in that beforehand.
Okay. Once you do understand that, you end up understanding the person themselves too. It doesn't matter if it's a significant other or not either. It can be your friends, a frenemy, anyone, and then you'll end up, understanding.
You embrace like their personalities, their traits and everything.
Yeah.
So like now that she watched those shows, like I don't mind watch. Like I'll watch a little bit of it. Like that's when of course I get my phone a little bit more, but But the same thing with her too, right? Like with sports, she's not the biggest sports fan, so I'm speaking for her, but like. What I appreciate is that she lets me have that time watching the sports because she understands how big that is for me. And she goes watch her shows that, like, again, I'm not big on. And then we catch up after both are done.
Okay, excellent. Craig, my brother Rashad says, tell Craig he's the reason he tries not to eat mayonnaise. I said, okay.
I like mayonnaise. I just try. I was worried about the fat,
Yeah, no, you just go hard. I'm saying you kept my stomach. You was like, no, Josh. I'm like, yeah, you right. My sister Naima says, hey y'all, hey Naima. Okay. What has been the best part of you all? I'll start with you, Ruth. What has been the best part of you all dating and now growing into being engaged?
For me, I think it was starting off as a friendship. I think for me, in my past, I always skipped the friendship part. I always wanted to, jump into a relationship. I think I was more of like a hopeless romantic type of girl. Like I just wanted to be swept off my feet and just kind of been like, yes, straight to the I love yous or whatever, and Korean dramas just gotten into me. But anyway, I think with that, growing to be friends first, understanding each other a lot more, communication as well, it really, really made me fall in love with him deeper and deeper and deeper. And at the same time, meeting his parents and him meeting mine and my family and how much he got along with them. It was that, I think that was the answer right there, really. So it was very special. Yeah.
Okay, what about for you, Craig?
What was the question again?
What was the? Thank you for that, Craig. What was the best part of you all being dating so far, and what is the best part of you all being as leading up to you all being engaged?
Yeah, I think what for me is like how, like, you know, people say like relationships are hard. Like for me, it feels like really easy, you know, like, I mean, obviously you have hard moments,
right,
but like for the most part, it's easy and like we communicate. So the best part is like, even if we fight, we talk it out. Like we like, hey, do you want to talk about the situation? So that's been like great. And then also too, like, you know are you getting married to a person, you're getting married to their family and friends. That's very important to know. I mean, if you don't love them, you better like them, or vice versa. You know, there's got to be something where you better appreciate them, because you see them a lot more. And if you don't like them, then that's probably gonna make it a long haul, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I always look forward.
Excellent. Let's stop right there. Because there's cultural differences. How was that? We'll start with you, Ruth. Were you worried about that, and how did your family accept him?
I don't think I was necessarily too worried, because my aunt, the eldest aunt in the family, actually the oldest sister of my mom, she's married to a Caucasian, and my dad was not used to it though. So my dad was always Korean guy, blah, blah, blah. And I tell my dad, if I date a guy like, I'm sorry, my dad is a functional alcoholic. I love the guy. He's funny. He's a great guy. But I said, I can't marry a guy like that. So my little sister also married a Caucasian guy, and my dad was able to talk to him, and, you know, they've been together for, you know, almost 10 years now too. So my dad was very open to it. My mom has always been open to it. She says, you know, color isn't a thing. She was more concerned about if the man is going to treat you right and treat you like the princess that you are, then I respect it. And so that's how, you know, my family is. I think my family is just a little bit more, you know, they've definitely gotten a lot more Americanized, more than tradition.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Craig, what about you and your parents and your whole family?
Yeah, no, my whole family was like definitely accepting. They always, you know, whoever I love, they love, so they embrace it. I guess I was worried about her family more, because like I knew where my family kind of stood, and not like she didn't say anything like, oh, you better watch out, like, but you know, like, again, like, yeah, I'm a white boy coming into a whole Korean community, and you never know, like, if I'm going to get accepted or not. So, but one of your friends and family, like, they were open. I don't think there's one person of Ruth's friends that has not accepted me or has made Ruth like think twice differently. So, you know, it's like I said, I got lucky on that point, that, you know, that we got tradition. So the only thing I had to do is like learn like different Korean traditions, like with her dad, and drinking, and being respectful and bowing and stuff like that. So there is bowing.
So there is bowing. That is a part of the culture.
Yeah, like if you have like a shot glass, like first of all, when you have to pour them a shot, you have to, or when you pour a drink,
you use two hands.
You have to pour. Yeah, and then like, or yeah, right, or and then if you get a shot from them, you have to hold it a certain way and bow your head, and then when you do take a shot, you look away, because it's, you know, it's respect for your elders.
Okay. And what about with eating? As far as is there something different with that, like with the eating?
Yeah, I got yelled at for sticking my fork into. You ever do that, Josh? Where you put, or anyone, I don't know who's watching, it's like you put your fork like on, like, you know, stabbed like on like a piece of chicken or rice or something where it's sticking up.
Yeah.
That's not allowed.
Not allowed. No.
That means, what does that mean again? I forgot what it means.
It's kind of like it's like a symbol of death, pretty much. So if you put your fork or chopsticks or anything like that, just stab it right into the rice, and just it symbolizes pretty much death. So yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting, but I've been always raised that way. And then every time I see it, I'm just like, I'm like, get that fork out of there.
So help us out. What is the proper way to do it then if you don't dive straight in?
Yeah, so I think if you ever have your fork, let's say you're eating pasta or something, you don't want to just stab your fork in there. You just kind of want to set it to the side on top of your napkin or on the table. Yeah, you don't want to ever have it just sticking straight up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so my sister Naima says, we'll start with Ruth and then go to Craig. No, we'll start with Craig on this one. Has the wedding planning caused any stress to the relationship?
Yeah, you know, there's been like, I don't know if anyone's ever gone through a stress-free planning. It's just
No.
the amount of stuff. I mean, your sister asked that question. Is she?
Yeah.
She got married, right? She's married, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah, I
married.
mean, I wonder what she would say too, like, because I can't see the comments, but I mean, I like to know if she was the same way, where, you know, you're going along pretty well, and then you hit a speed bump. You go pretty well, and then you hit a speed bump. So, but for the most part, for me at least, it's been good, you know, and I mean, the process has been fine. I mean, it's nice, and it's been fun to do together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, what about for you, Ruth?
I think the biggest part on our thing was, what was it? I think it was
You gotta be like, oh, who are we inviting?
I think it was the invitations. Much.
Yeah, invitations. Making sure that's all right. I mean, I guess for you, for getting a dress, you know.
Oh, the dress was, I mean, I think the most part for us, we definitely had our little bumps on the road, but it wasn't like anything where we're like yelling at each other or anything like that. But it was more, I think, understanding of each other, of how much we should spend on a certain things, how much we should, you know, hold back on. Why would we spend so much on a photographer? Things like that. That's what the men would always ask us. But, you know, photography is something that you carry throughout generations after generations, you know. So I think that's highly important for everybody. But I think we never really had gotten to screaming fights. I think it was just, what I appreciate about Craig is that anything I had problems with dress wise or anything else, I would vent and vent and vent, and he would always just kind of be there, just, you know, holding it in and saying, take a breath, it'll be okay, tomorrow's a new day, just start fresh, you know, type of thing. So it's really, he's been a good strong man next to me, so it's helpful.
Okay, excellent. Mimi, I see your question. I'm coming right to it. A quick question. Speaking of the wedding, is there anything that's like with the attire for the guests? Is that, as far as the cultural thing, is there something that people should know or no? Like with that?
Nope. But my mom, she would wear a traditional Korean dress. So when a girl gets married, she wears a pink traditional dress. But if a boy gets married, then it's blue or a purple, just more of a darker tone. But yeah, it's called a hanbok, and that is pretty much what the mom would always wear, and then the dad would always just wear a tux. But there is a traditional way you can get married, but we're just not going to do it this year. This year we're just not going to do it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Well, here's a question from my sister Mimi. We'll start with you on this one, Ruth. Are you all okay? Well, she already answered that. She said, "Are you all having a wedding?" And she says, "I know from experience how stressful wedding planning can be. How do you all manage the stress of wedding planning, the wedding planning process? How do you manage it?"
We drink. No, just kidding.
Okay.
We're not really good at that. You know, we kind of like, we put deadlines on things too. Like, hey, let's have this done by this date, by this date. We've been very good about planning things out. Like, let's make sure we have this. Like I said, we set the budget, so we kind of stay in that range. And then, you know, as long as you're truthful to it and you stay on top of it, it does keep the stress down a little bit. Because I mean, it sounds overwhelming when you say it all at once, but like how they say with goals, you got to take small ones, right, to get to the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, we would definitely just kind of talk about it. And, you know, of course I would be super stressed, but he calms me. I'm usually the one that needs all the calming. So he'll just talk to me about it. And sometimes we'll just put on a TV show and just kind of ignore it and just wait the next day or something like that. But
yeah.
Okay, excellent. How do you all, we'll start with you on this one, Craig. How do you handle disappointment in the relationship?
By drinking more. No, yeah. How do I handle it? I you know, like nothing's perfect, and I think when you first hear about it, you got to vent to your friends and vent to others about it, because you know you not like you're disappointing the person. It's just, you know, you want the best for them. So when something's not going the way that you think it should be going, you kind of tend to, you know, vent at first, and then you kind of try to talk about it, you know, if you can, to your person, and ask them, you know, why things going like this, you know. And I mean, it's not like, it's hard for me because there's not that many things I've been disappointed with Ruth or anything like that. So, but if there's something that, if an occasion does happen, I definitely, you know, talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. And what about you, Ruth? How do you handle disappointment?
I think, you know, before I would always kind of, you know, talk to him face to face, or maybe ignore him. But I think we learned now to handle it. We kind of just give each other space. We let our thoughts roll in. And then when we're ready, we'll pretty much say, hey, you ready to talk about what happened? Anything like that. And then we talk civilly. We don't ever raise our voices at each other, because that's just not going to go anywhere. So that's how we solve our situations.
Okay, excellent. How did you all get engaged, Craig? You never told me the story. Did you, like, how was the proposal? What was that like?
Okay. Yeah. So, we've been dating for, at this point, 2 years, I think. And I knew a while back I was going to do it. I was just trying to figure out the right time. I was waiting for some of her friends to get done getting married, to kind of maybe, you know, get her on her moment. And so my whole she has another sister that lives in California, and so I wanted to surprise her somehow. Like I wanted that, you know, because, you know, a lot of these people, like, a lot of times, like, I mean, I guess there's people who like pick their like rings out together and they do this together. She had no idea that I already got a ring or anything like that. And
okay.
So she had no idea. And then I booked Maggiano's Italian restaurant. And what I did, and this is the first time her parents and my parents met. So I went with her sisters and we picked out a place, you know, got reservations for a certain date. And then it was going to be a surprise. So she thinks that we're just going out to dinner. My original goal was almost to act like we're going to break up, because I really wanted to get her. Like, so.
That would have been.
Yeah, everyone was not like totally for it, but I'm like,
No.
You got to make this as real as possible. I mean, I got to.
Craig, what's going on? You trying to die, Craig? What you doing?
I know. Can you imagine how great that would be? Like, you're thinking like the worst, but then the best comes out. I mean, you know. So we so everyone gets there early. All her close friends, family, and friends, like, we're all there they're at there. We get there a little bit late, and then so I let her walk ahead of me, because we ran out of room. And, you know, as she opened the door, she saw like my parents and her parents, and then
everybody,
bam, just got into one knee, and, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, now Ruth, when he got on his knee, did you already know you were going to accept? Did you start crying? What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is what I've been telling all my friends that weren't there. You know that those faces at the theater, it's like a mask, and it has like that happy face, and then the frown.
Yes, ma'am.
My face literally made that frown, but I was like crying, and like smiling and just happy. And, in my mind throughout the years, I always thought, oh my God, I'm going to jump for joy. I'm going to say yes right away. But like, when it happens, that doesn't happen how you actually think. So, I mean, I literally almost fell to my knees.
It's like a blackout moment, even for me too. Like it's surreal. Like you don't even know what's going on. You kind of almost like out of body experience when you do it. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that way, but
Ruth, let me tell you something. This is my first time meeting you, but Craig is in love, because he would never say nothing like that back in the day. It's some out of body experience. That's good, Craig. I'm happy for you.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh gosh, but yeah, it was an amazing moment. But I mean, I turned right back around and I just see his hands like, well, will you? Like, what's your answer? And I'm like, of course I will. So,
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Craig, if or when you have made mistakes in the past, how did you apologize?
Well, I gotta give Ruth like a lot of credit on this because most of the time, and I'm not sure, I can't speak for every girl, but like a lot of girls like for me, if like I made a mistake, I was like embarrassed by it, but so I'd almost try to almost throw it onto them. Now they were the ones that made a mix, and what other mistake I made, I try to blame it on them. And then we get in an argument, yelling, and then obviously I'm just like, okay, it's over. I'm done with this. But with right, you're done with it. You're like, just like, I'm not gonna put up with this, But with Ruth, it's different. I mean, she dealt with, she was very calm and just like wanted to talk it out, and really was not raising her voice or being very judgmental, but she told like what she felt, and then once I saw that in her, like it made me want to be better and like maybe want to apologize and, take care of like whatever issues that she had, because she wasn't yelling at me, she wasn't attacking me, and I took that to heart. So
okay, that's good. All right, so Ruth, what about you? If or when you've made mistakes in the past, how did you apologize to Craig?
Of course, puppy eye, sorry. No, but like, I immediately say sorry. It's no hesitation, just immediately. I just want to no matter how mad he is at me, I make myself just squeeze him and hold him, and I won't let him push me away. And I just keep saying, I'm sorry. And, I can't leave his side. I can't leave anyone that would be mad at me. I just, for me, it has to be conflict on that. Like, I'm sorry, please forgive me. If you don't, then I'm still going to hold on to you. I'm going to be that leech. Like, so yeah.
Okay, wonderful. That's cool. What do you all do to keep the excitement up? We'll start with you, Ruth, on this. In your relationship, like, where do y'all go? Like, y'all go out? Is it Netflix? What is it?
Really, we're big homebodies. We love to just stay at home. We drink at home. I mean, not every day, like a weekend. So, everybody, please don't judge us. We're alcoholics. No, we really just, on weekends drink at home, and we'll watch a lot of shows together, but at the same time we pause it and we end up having conversations about it. We were really never communicators. We would just kind of sometimes just sit there and just watch TV. But nowadays, since it keeps growing, we have definitely been talking more and more, and it's been great. Yeah, I think that's like the most excitement times in my life. I really look forward to the weekends all the time.
Okay, excellent. Okay, hold on, Craig, coming to you. My sister Naima said homebodies make the perfect couples. Thank you, Naima, for that.
Yeah,
Craig.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be going to clubs,
Oh no.
Because I'm a flirt.
So Craig, so what's like? So you're saying just being home as well, Craig, as far as being like the perfect dating and things of that nature?
Yeah, and like hanging out with friends, because I mean, truthfully, like, you know, you can go to like the movies and stuff like that, or go to clubs, but you don't really get to know the person that well. So, checking out restaurants maybe that you both want to check out.
We like bowling.
Yeah, we like bowling, getting a little competitive. That's also brings out the best, I think, in people too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it could bring the worst too, but
but then you'll know.
yeah, you could have like games like that. So like, yeah, we keep it really just like very, like I said, like low key, and no, we're not like very extravagant and like have to go different like crazy places or anything like that. But I mean, we would. I mean, if we discuss it and we want to go somewhere, then
Okay, cool. Well, and I want to thank you all for your comments and your questions. Sister Misha, thank you for your question as well. What advice, this is the last question we have for you. What advice would you give to people, let's say that, like in the player zone, like Craig used to be and all that kind of stuff, to make like, to try to say like, hey, this is really where it's need to be at. It's good to be in a relationship and get married. We'll start with you. How would you convince somebody who's single to say, you know what, this player life is not good? What would you say to him?
Was it me? Is that me?
To Ruth. No, to Ruth.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So people that are, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking to Craig. So you're saying that people that are still in that player type of lifestyle and then want to settle down, what advice I would give? Well, quite honestly, I think I think I can speak for you too. When we were before 30 years old, 30, 31, I think before then, that was the whole player party life. You just want to get out there, meet people.
Which you should do.
I think you should, honestly. I don't think people should settle down at the age of like 20s. I really don't. I think, right when you turn 30, that's when you're going to be like, you know what? I got a job. I got my, my life together. I think I'd be able to really settle down. And I think from then on, you should really settle down. You should find that right person. But if you can really find that person that you can build and build and build instead of going into the middle or anywhere under that, I think you're golden. I think you'll be able to keep going and going with that special person. And especially when you feel it, because I definitely felt it with him. I think that you'll be super good. And especially talking about it our whole time today, I think communication is it's key. It really is. Everyone says it. And everyone said it to me when I was in the single life, but I was like, no, I don't think so. But no, it's true. It's true. Communication.
Okay,
Craig, what about you? What kind of advice would you give to get somebody out the game?
Yeah, so like we first said, like if you're a younger person, like 18 to 25, I mean, yeah, get to know yourself first, like just date around, and there's nothing wrong. Yeah. But then like as you get older, you gotta watch The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler.
Of course. And
you gotta go you remember that scene in The Wedding Singer where he's at the bar, his girl Adam Sandler's girl like broke up with him, so he's like, oh, he saw his best friend, he's like, you and me, man, let's go get chicks and stuff. And then he goes, hey, you know why Happy Days ended? Because no one wanted to see the Fonz as an old man.
Yeah.
And as Chris Rock says, or is it Chris Rock, like, where it's like, you don't want to be that old guy in the club. Everyone notices you. So I don't panic, but at the same time, like, realize, it's great to have someone next to you, to have like a Bonnie and Clyde, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Peanut butter and jelly, someone you always get along with and get, make things always work.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on. I want to thank everyone for watching. Ruth, I look forward to meeting you in person. Craig, please give your family my love and greetings from my family to you all. We wish y'all nothing but the best.
Yeah, we're sending you an invitation, Josh. We're sending you one, actually.
Okay, I gotta check the mail. But a year from now, we want to bring y'all back to see what it's like to be, you know, like we're just gonna keep checking. That's why I do to all the couples. We're gonna keep coming back a year from now just so that we can see, you know, what it's like, what's the differences in what you all have learned.
Maybe there'll be a little one.
Okay. Oh, speaking of that, do y'all with children? How did you all approach that? Like, I want this many, you want this. Like, how was that conversation?
You know, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know how many actually I wanted because I mean I wasn't there yet. Like, yeah, it's just like kind of like relationships. Like I wasn't there, but then like for some reason it just hits you. You like you know when you know. Yeah, like 1 to 2. You know, I could definitely see up to 2.
Yeah, I think at first he was like no, and then he was like 1, and I was like but 2, and he was like okay 2. So we definitely set it on 2. Yeah.
Okay, well, excellent. And I want to thank y'all. Man, thank y'all for coming on. Y'all just wave to everybody. And
yeah, thank you guys thanks for being on here. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for having us, Josh.
You're the
no
man.
problem. Have a great night.
Love you like a brother, respect you like a father.
Yes, thank you, Craig. Stay right here, bro.